wonderful colleague of Pierre's in the federal cabinet. Minister Alexander, I believe, graduated from McGill University in politics, then went on to take a master's degree at Oxford University. Very shortly after completing his graduate studies, he would become one of Canada's youngest ambassadors. In fact, ambassador on our behalf to Afghanistan. Spent a wonderful constructive period on our behalf in his life while there. Eventually decided that his country was calling him in a different way. Left the Department of External Affairs to return to private life. Marked time for a little while. Became a candidate for our party. Got duly elected. Became a parliamentary secretary. And most recently, in the present parliament, assumed the ministry that he now importantly holds. He's a wonderful friend of Pierre's, and it's a great pleasure to have him come and address us for a few minutes about what his ministry and our government is up to. Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Bill. And let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the former Member of Parliament for this riding who brought us the statue of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, on Parliament Hill. His private member's bill, a few years ago now, has left its mark, as this riding has always left its mark on Canadian history, on the history of our party. And thanks to all of you for being here today in this glorious weather to celebrate liquid sunshine, to celebrate 10 years of achievement by our friend and colleague, Pierre Poiliervre. Pierre, we are so proud, all of us in the House of Commons, and I know all of us across Canada, to have you leading a new generation of Conservatives into a future that has never been brighter. And ladies and gentlemen, let's remember, this is not only your four-time elected MP, this is not only a guy that you elected the first time, I guess, was it in diapers or just after that? He certainly wasn't able to drink back in 2004. He has come very quickly to be one of the intellectual leaders of our party, one of the anchors of our principled stand on the Canadian economy, on creating jobs and growth, on being fiscal conservatives who walk the talk. And I must say, I'm really moved to be able to be here with all of you to celebrate 10 years that have gone so quickly. Let's have another round of applause for Pierre Poiliervre. Now, you know his exploits as well or better than anyone. I just drove past that fabulous achievement on your river near here. You know, we used to remember July the 12th in some parts of Canada for other reasons, for the celebration of historical events in the deep past. I think now the glorious 12th of July will be remembered for that bridge, the Strathern and Armstrong Bridge, which was opened earlier this summer. That is an unbelievable achievement for a member of Parliament who cares about his community, who cares about infrastructure, who was instrumental in his previous job in literally making infrastructure in this country younger, newer, through that period of stimulus in close collaboration with John Baird, of course under the leadership of our Prime Minister Stephen Harper. It's a historic achievement, and he is going on to make other ones. You've all you all know how much pressure we're under at home here in Canada and around the world to keep an eye on spending, to keep ourselves accountable, fully accountable to you as taxpayers. And I'm here to tell you that in Parliament, in caucus, behind the scenes, there is no one at the federal level who is a stronger voice for responsible spending, for the return to balance, and for fiscal conservatism in this country than Pierre Poiliervre. And he builds, on top of that, this new responsibility for democratic development. I think we can all take, you can all take immense pride in the fact that thanks to your Member of Parliament, thanks to your Minister of State for Democratic Development, Canada now has the most modern, the most accountable, the most transparent elections law of any democracy in the entire world, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to put it to good use next year when we're going to need your help, and we're going to need help of everyone who believes in the strength of Canada, who believes in Canada's future. And obviously, as your Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, I'm here to tell you that there has never been a moment when more people across this strife-torn world have wanted to come to our shores, have looked to Canada as a beacon of stability and opportunity, and that is because of the leadership of Prime Minister Stephen Harper, of this Conservative government, and of great MPs like Pierre Poiliervre in this riding of M.P. and Carleton. I'm proud to be part of a government that has that economic record. Best financial system in the world, the most stable, first in the G7 to return to fiscal balance next year. Job creation on a scale that no one else can match. I'm proud to be part of a government with Pierre that honors Canada's history, that remembers the world wars and how they shaped this country and made a difference for opportunity in the whole world. That remembers the Fathers of Confederation, that this year is 200 years since the birth of Georges-Étienne Cartier, that next year will be 200 years since the birth of Sir John A. Macdonald. These are lessons that we all need to know. Those born here, those newcomers to Canada, and in citizenship ceremonies across this country, in our immigration programs, in everything we do together as a great Canadian community, we are celebrating those traditions, we are celebrating those achievements as never before, and it's because of the strength of this government. It's because we believe, like you do, that you build a bright future on the basis of firm foundations. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, we've been able to sustain the highest immigration levels in Canadian history. That's why we've been able to attract the most talented, the most educated, the most qualified immigrants ever in our history. Because people do want to come here for the right reasons. And Canadians know that we won't fill the jobs of the future just on the basis of our own population. We won't grow. We won't realize that potential without immigration. But to make sure it works for immigrants and to make sure it works for Canada, we've had to reform our immigration programs. And under the leadership of Jason Kenney, Prime Minister Stephen Harper, we have had the most ambitious set of reforms to immigration in the history of Canada. Our asylum system, our temporary foreign worker programs, our economic programs, they're all working better than ever, ladies and gentlemen, and they're all working for the Canadian economy. Now, when people talk about Pierre, they really do talk in terms of great respect. They talk about historical precedents. Some people even talk about the young Churchill, Pierre. I don't know if you're listening back there. And it's true, ladies and gentlemen, this guy was elected 1 year earlier than Churchill was elected to Parliament. He was made a minister about the same age Churchill became a minister. And the great news is that when he became a minister, he was already a conservative, which Churchill was not yet. He was a liberal at that point. So, ladies and gentlemen, you should be very proud of this guy. He's surpassed Winston Churchill in a few ways already at his tender age of 35. He's lived down the fact that he was born one day before Joe Clark became Prime Minister. And he has been part, since 2004, of the most successful Conservative government's unbroken record of victory since Sir John A. Macdonald. He's got a lot more to do for you. He's got a lot more to do for us. He's got a lot more to do for Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pierre Poiliervre, your Member of Parliament.